All right, breaking news. The Donald Trump White House is in disarray as FBI Director Kash Patel is reportedly going to be kicked out of his position in the next few weeks. Less than a week ago, Marjorie Taylor Greene resigned from Congress, therefore shrinking the Republican majority in Congress. They are hanging on by a thread. At this very critical moment in the MAGA Civil War, FBI Director Kash Patel is going to be kicked out because he spent the first 10 months being the FBI director, covering up the Epstein files, which Trump should appreciate, but then also flying his girlfriend around in government jets. There are reports that they are flying government jets around as if they are luxury private jets and using SWAT teams as the personal security guard for Kash Patel and his girlfriend. They are using public office for personal enrichment, which is quite literally the definition of corruption. So this corrupt Epstein file cover-upper, if that is a verb, is now about to lose the very position of power that he has been abusing. Let's just back up a few days, because we also learned that Kash Patel is now casting doubt on the full release of the Epstein files. Donald Trump's FBI director has cast doubt on whether the Epstein files will be released in full, which... this is what Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying. Kash Patel has become the deep state. And I never thought I'd be aligning with Marjorie or quoting Marjorie, but when Marjorie resigned, she said that her fear is basically the Trump administration is not playing 4D chess. They are actually creating a deeper and deeper swamp. This is what I've been saying on this channel for years. Donald Trump is not draining the swamp. He is creating a deeper one. He is not fighting the deep state. He's creating his own deep state, where his daughter-in-law is the RNC chair, where crazy-eyed Kash Patel is helping him cover up the Epstein files. Kash Patel said the administration is working to see if there is anything more from the documents that can be released to the public. I am sure there is more that can be released. While all of this is happening, Kash Patel is under fire because he's using SWAT teams to protect his girlfriend. The FBI director's travel on government jets has contributed to growing questions inside the admin about whether he is using taxpayer-funded resources inappropriately. Spoiler alert, he is. He's using them very, very inappropriately. Kash Patel's heavy use of taxpayer-funded resources during his first 9 months has contributed to growing questions. This includes an intense use of security to protect himself and his girlfriend. They're using SWAT teams to do it. This includes using a government jet for some of his recreational travel, such as golf trips with buddies to a private resort in Scotland over the summer. Directors must fly on government aircraft, but using government jets for business trips or to return home requires planning and coordination, and doing it for your girlfriend is next level. This brings us to today's report. Trump is weighing the ouster of Kash Patel due to the unfavorable headlines and due to an overall decrease in popularity. This, by the way, left the White House immediately scrambling. Caroline Leavitt posted right away, quote, "This story is completely made up. In fact, when this fake news published, I was in the Oval Office where President Trump was meeting with his law enforcement team, including FBI Director Kash Patel. I read the headline to the president and he laughed. He said, 'What? That's totally false. Come on, Kash. Let's take a picture to show them you're doing a great job. Do not believe the fake news.'" Honestly, I don't believe Caroline Leavitt here. Surprise, surprise, but Caroline Leavitt would totally lie. What's more likely is that Donald Trump is about to ouster Kash Patel, but they're so stubborn and they don't want to be caught with their pants down that they told Kash Patel to come take a quick picture so that they could act like they're all buddy-buddy. Caroline Leavitt comes out and immediately scrambles very quickly to say that this story is false, but let's read it. President Donald Trump is considering removing Kash Patel as FBI director in the coming months as he and his top aides have grown increasingly frustrated by the unflattering headlines Patel has recently generated, according to 3 people with knowledge of the situation. Patel has come under scrutiny for his stewardship of Bureau resources, including his girlfriend's security detail and use of a government jet, and for his squabbles with other Trump loyalists. Trump and White House aides have confided to allies that the president is eyeing removal of Patel and is considering top FBI official Andrew Bailey as the Bureau's new director, according to 3 people. Patel is described as being on thin ice, and his ouster appears closer than ever, with Bailey as the logical replacement. two of the sources with knowledge of the situation said. White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson responded saying, President Trump has assembled the most talented and impressive admin in history. I mean, we do have reports that Trump has been heavily considering flipping over some of his cabinet. One of the reports said his chief of staff, one said the secretary of transportation. There are certain reports that Donald Trump is eyeing, heading into his second year, a cleaning out of some of the weaker links of his cabinet, and I guess that would be Kash Patel. I think the reality is Donald Trump has tried very, very hard not to have any turnover in his cabinet whatsoever. He has been trying desperately, even throughout Signalgate, to keep Pete Hegseth, even throughout all of Pete Hegseth's errors, to not drop him. He has tried so hard throughout the Epstein saga to allow Pam Bondi some space. I mean, not really. He's been tweeting and DMing at Pam Bondi to prosecute people relentlessly, but he seems to be trying to have no turnover because one of the biggest complaints of his first term from people like me was debating is, yo, you're supposed to be this businessman executive who, quote, chooses the best people, yet rather than choosing the best people, you have like a 90% turnover rate, firing person after person after person. So he's trying desperately to hang on, but I think he's hitting maximum pain point. We're at a point where his approval rating on everything from immigration to the economy, to the Epstein files, is actively plummeting, and it's partially because the people he's putting in these positions are doing such a poor job that it's reflecting poorly on him. Like, Pete Hegseth is no longer just a lightning rod for criticism about Signalgate. Everything Pete Hegseth does poorly at this point reflects poorly on Donald Trump. Pam Bondi, when she first messed up, people were like, dude, Pam Bondi sucks. I mean, we knew that Pam Bondi sucked, but when she first messed up with the Epstein files, all of the Trump supporters were saying, Pam Bondi sucks. Trump is surely going to replace her soon. But as she continues to mess up over and over and over, Trump supporters are realizing that this reflects poorly on Trump. So I think he's looking at Kash Patel and seeing, dude, quote, like read this article. The news reports include a self-styled whistleblower flagging that Patel had used a government jet for what critics dubbed a date night to see his girlfriend perform in State College, Pennsylvania, and a use of elite SWAT team agents for a security detail for his girlfriend, which was first reported by MS Now. Trump inserted Andrew Bailey in the unusual role of a co-deputy director at the FBI in September amid broad Republican concern about Deputy Director Bongino's lack of experience. So 9 months into the role, 8 or 9 months into the role, Republicans were like, dude, the podcast bro that you put in as a deputy FBI director has a huge lack of experience. This is why experience is good. I know that we're sick of very, very old people in Washington, and I am too. I don't think every person in Washington should be like Mitch McConnell's age or Joe Biden's age, but there is a use for people in their 40s and 50s and 60s who have experience. Like, there's a reason why people with experience rise to the top and are at the best at their job, because they keep things locked the fuck down. When we have a podcast bro as the deputy FBI director, there are going to be mistakes. When Pete Hegseth is plucked off Fox News and Kash Patel is now the FBI director, there are going to be mistakes. So I'm not arguing for people in every position to be like swamp creatures who are 95 years old, but at some point, I'd like to have experienced people as our health secretary, for example. I think we can all agree with that. I love you all. I'll see you in the next video, and peace out.